his third year as director for the Piccolo Spoleto Festival, and in this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sat down with City of Charleston Office of Cultural Affairs Director Scott Watson to talk about the festival's 38th year. So good to see you, Scott.
Good to see you, Quintin.
I appreciate this. You know, when I was flipping through this Piccolo Spoleto 2016 guide, I couldn't notice but this, the new program poster, which basically has, I believe, a crab holding a hat. And it's actually produced by Gil Schuler, who is this year's Piccolo Spoleto poster artist. And it says the following here in the program guide. Gil Schuler is a native South Carolinian, raised on a farm by hard-working parents who instilled in their son that hard work, good craftsmanship, and strong relationships make life meaningful. Gil has been drawing all of his life and is still drawing all the time now. And my question to you is this: why Gil? Why now?
Well, Gil's someone that can come up with something that's iconic. He, in some ways, is an icon in and of himself, including the hat.
Right.
And the image that he has entitled "The Gentleman Fiddler," right, I think is pretty much capturing the spirit of Piccolo Spoleto. The put on your finest and turn out, come join the party and be a part of the festival.
And also, this particular letter stuck out to me when I was reading the program guide. It says this: "Dear friends, we are delighted to share with you the program for this year's Piccolo Spoleto Festival, the official outreach arm of Spoleto Festival USA. 2016 marks both the 40th anniversary of Spoleto Festival USA and the 38th year that Piccolo Spoleto has made this inspired and celebratory festival experience available to everyone in the community, artists and audience alike." And I'm wondering, when you think of Spoleto 40 years later and Piccolo 38 years later, where are you emotionally?
Well, emotionally, we're in a point of great celebration. To see Spoleto in the Gilliard, to be over there with our box offices set up, it really is the culmination of a vision that has grown over time. Certainly, this wasn't the founding vision of Giancarlo Minotti, Mayor Riley, and Ted Stern at the college in the early days. I think back then, by all reports, people were wondering if there'd be a festival next year. There was some level of financial brinksmanship, creating an entity that now has matured. And to see the performance hall built to suit and to accommodate the artists that are of the caliber that Spoleto Festival recruits from around the world, while also offering a home for the Charleston Symphony Orchestra and other great visiting attractions, it really makes me feel that we now have that state-of-the-art performing arts campus. It's just dispersed around the community. So we have the Gilliard, obviously. We then have the Dock Street, which was fully renovated, Meminger. Satilli is in good shape, and hopefully we'll get in even better shape down the road. And we then populate all of the remaining spaces that we can, whether it's Footlight Players or Charleston Music Hall, or what really become the memorable spaces for Piccolo: church sanctuaries, public parks, the custom house stairs where we installed the symphony for the Sunset Serenade concert. So, in terms of emotionally, this is the time of greatest anticipation. We have very few hiccups this time in May. We just watched tickets sell, and we try to give a little help where somebody may need it as they're in rehearsal or getting ready to perform. But we're also kind of sealing ourselves for the mania that will ensue starting at 12 noon on the 27th of May when we're down at City Hall to officially start the festival and then run at breakneck speed through essentially the 11th of June. The Piccolo finale is always on the closing Saturday at Hampton Park. We'll have a few things that continue on, some visual arts exhibitions that will be on view on that Sunday, maybe one production. But I like for my staff, particularly the box office team and all of our interns, to be able to exhale, maybe go out to Middleton and enjoy the Spoleto finale. In my case, I'll be with my wife at the Gilliard for the final performance of Porgy and Bess for her Valentine's present.
That is awesome. And the letter continues with this: annually presenting more than 500 performing, literary, and visual art events, the 17-day Piccolo Spoleto Festival transformed Charleston into an exhilarating celebration of the cultural vitality and diversity of the South Carolina Lowcountry. This means that over 17 days of the festival, there are hundreds of opportunities to enjoy Piccolo Spoleto through events that are free to the public and offered in the spirit of a community celebration. And it has me thinking, Scott, when I say Piccolo Spoleto 2016, you say?
I say come join us.
Yes.
It really, people often ask me, oh, hey, what's coming up on the program? What's going to be good this year? And to my thinking, during the 17 days of the festival, you really should be thinking, what's next? Because let's be honest, we don't have this level of animation in Charleston any other time of the year. It may be that there are more cultural events throughout the calendar, but this is the opportunity to start your day at 10 o'clock with an organ recital, get over to the college at noon for one of their young artist concerts, maybe drop in a few of the galleries that are exhibiting work, or go over to Marion Square, see the artwork on display there. And by the time you roll around to 5 or 6 o'clock and you might be wanting to have a little bit of refreshment, you can either go into any of the restaurants and bars around town and fill up that way, or you can go to a spotlight concert and enjoy chamber music down at City Gallery or at Grace Church. And that's all before you get to the main stage 8 o'clock curtain or the Piccolo Fringe events that often go up at 9 or 9:30 at night. So really what I see happening is trying to get people not to be selective in what are they going to make their commitment to and plan for, but trying to encourage them to be in the habit of going to see multiple events, commandeer your friends and neighbors, get people to see something that they wouldn't do otherwise, because that's why we put this on. And for many of the Piccolo artists, they really are either just finding their first legs as an ensemble, often working together in collaborative settings that they haven't before, or they're artists that this is the one time of year that they can afford to put on a show. So they're out there in this great, beautiful cacophony of activity, and they're hoping to find you in their audience. So I just think it's a wonderful time, and emotionally it really is the pinnacle of the arts calendar in Charleston, but that's not to say that many of the artists that you see during Piccolo also have exceptional programming throughout the rest of the year. You're unlikely to see too much of it in July. The summer is the summer, but we hope that you get to know the Piccolo artists as people that you're seeing elsewhere around town throughout the year, whether it's in a theater, whether it's at the Gilliard with the CSO, or whether it's in a jazz nightclub like the Mez.
Okay. And this also stuck out to me, Scott. You said this, and if by chance you notice an uncanny resemblance between the current mayor of this fine city and one of Piccolo Spoleto's hardworking musicians, please do not be surprised. I'm wondering, what will Mayor Tecklenburg and Lonnie Hamilton surprise us with this year?
Well, I don't think that the mayor will interrupt their performance out on the harbor cruise to read proclamations and review ordinances. Hopefully he will have accomplished that at his desk before the festival starts. This letter that we co-write, I think that the mayor is just so excited about everything. And that he talks with great candor about attending Spoleto in his youth and having all of these wonderful tickets that were at the family house just available, and really having kind of a smorgasbord approach to what do I want to have experience next. So I'm looking forward to not just seeing the mayor out on the harbor cruise, as he's often done with these fantastic jazz elders and jazz ambassadors. Lonnie actually joined the mayor on Sunday at the Dock Street Theater for a small reception we had for the cast of Porgy and Bess with the cast from the 1970 production of Porgy and Bess. And hearing them play together and hearing the beautiful Gershwin music come alive, there's no question you'll want to be on that boat. But I'm also really looking forward to seeing the mayor be able to preside at the opening ceremonies, be able to greet friends and neighbors at the opening reception on the 27th at the bus shed from 5 to 7, and be present and officiate. It's a great honor when a visual artist receives the Best in Show prize personally from the Mayor of Charleston. And I think that for me, as the director of the Office of Cultural Affairs, it's not just a point of civic pride that we so value the arts here. It's wonderful that the city, as an administration and through its staff, want to celebrate the arts and advocate for the arts, and most importantly, participate in the arts.
Yeah. And you talk about June 11th when the festival really wraps up, and I know you want to take your wife to Milton place for the Spoleto finale. But right after that, you have to work on something very huge. It's the 1-year anniversary of Mother Emanuel. And I'm wondering, what was it like for you to really keep your emotions in check, knowing that you have to put on this big public anniversary?
Well, it's a task that obviously was going to land somewhere within the city's infrastructure. And now that we're several months into the planning process, working with the leadership of the church, working with a committee that's made up of survivors, family members of victims, leadership from City Hall, it's a process and the effort that I think is probably the most important work I could ever touch in my position. The emotion, obviously, is the hard part to contain because, well, we were all impacted and we all shared in an experience collectively last June into July. The emotions of the people at the table obviously are that much deeper,
Right.
and potentially more raw, but also fueling their day-to-day reality. And so if I come into a meeting on a Monday afternoon, maybe I've spent several hours typing up notes and reviewing them and making sure they're correct and preparing an agenda, but it hasn't been on my mind 24 hours a day,
Okay.
7 days a week.
Sure.
Walking around a house and
Right.
seeing something that reminds me, it very much is something that's in my heart,
Right.
but it's not always present. So making sure that we get these commemorations correct, funded, and produced successfully and safely. The biggest part right now is as we kind of transition from planning a schedule of events to now bringing that schedule forward with law enforcement,
Right.
with city staff, because there obviously be some traffic disruption and street closures. We just are all preparing ourselves to know that we don't collapse into a heap on June 12th and 13th, that we really have a different horizon in mind, and that we hope that the experience of what we commemorate from mid-June through the 25th of June, which will be the close of the 9 official days of commemoration, provides a framework and an understanding that we can use in future years. That we'll only learn from doing this and how to get things better, because we know that many of the elements of what will be present in the commemoration events are about not just healing and bridging communities, but about embracing unity in every sense of the word of an embrace, and responding to a heinous act by being kind
Yes.
and being engaged in the community.
Yeah.
And so I think that as people come together at these various events, whether they're organized by Mother Emanuel, or whether they're organized by community partners, or whether they're presented by artists, it really is going to be a chance for people to see how they can be of service moving forward, and how we can continue to heal and bond in the wake of an incredible disruption in the fabric of our community.
Yeah. And we just talked about this off camera, but it's been 3 years since you became the Director of Cultural Affairs for the City of Charleston. I'm wondering, as we sit here right now, what is it like to be Scott Watson?
It's wonderful. And I suppose I've inherited that word from my previous boss. Having the experience of being able to work not just with Mayor Riley, but with the team he assembled as the City of Charleston staff, with City Council, really has been everything I had hoped it would be. Pulling up stakes to move to Charleston from Brooklyn was made easier by the fact that my wife had grown up here, and that all of her family and most of her friends were still here. And I'm still known to, from time to time, introduce myself as Mr. Mara Hogan rather than as Mr. Scott Watson, just to get the door open. But it's really such an extraordinary place. We have a daughter who will turn 3 during the festival this year, and being able to raise a family with probably the best job in the world, pulling off events like Piccolo Spoleto, Moja Arts Festival, all the holiday celebration. The biggest obstacles I've faced recently have been when the farmers market was on hiatus and our daughter would point to Marion Square and say, "I want to go to the farmers market." And then the other one was we made a measured decision to no longer have a pony ride concession at the farmers market out of interest in the safety of the animals, but also it just wasn't fitting well in the park space. And sure enough, the first market of the year, as we're walking out, she goes, "Where are the horses?" So we spend a little bit more time visiting the horses down on the market when I take her to preschool each morning. But just what a wonderful gift to our family to be raising a daughter here in this community that's so special, that has such a pronounced heritage and pride and a beautiful setting, and more importantly, be able to drop in on a ballet performance at the Gilliard the same week that she's in a ballet class at Hazel Parker Playground with the City Recreation Department. So, I'll probably always retain some level of being a jaded New Yorker, but if Charleston can smooth out the edges, I suppose that's really where we've gone. Now with the new administration, we have some new priorities in place and continue to plan for the future. It's such a great team, and while we're all kind of figuring out not just reporting structures, and I think our regularly scheduled meeting has ping-ponged from Tuesday to Thursday to Monday to Tuesday over these past 3 or 4 months. But while there's some period of acclimation for everybody, we have every confidence in the leadership of the city and in Mayor Tecklenburg's vision for how we should come together as a community.